Hello, welcome to Finnerton Central. This is part 7, and I'm Brian. Now, Christmas is looming. End of 2017 is coming up. So, what I'll do is I will go through some of the stuff that I've been up to over the last couple of weeks, and we'll go from there. Okay, in the middle of the layout. Now then, first thing I need to show you really is one of the corner behind me. I'm sat here for a reason. The corner behind me has dramatically changed. That corner I didn't like whatsoever. If any of you are following me on Google Plus, you will already know what I've done to it. Now, to be fair, I've been trying to model this particular corner here for quite a while now. Every time I try doing something to it, it just doesn't look right. I've even had a few comments in the past where people have said that the incline of the road was too steep, and I completely and totally agree. So I had a bit of a thought, and I came up with this. I'll show you now. So as you can see, the road has gone. Well, it's almost gone. As you can see here, bring you in a bit closer. As you can see here, the roadway actually went down here, took all of that out, and I've basically put some rock formations in here. I've used what I've done is I've used a plaster cast. This one a friend of mine got me a little while ago from Woodland Scenics. Basically, it's a rock mould which you just fill with a plaster, and once it's set, you put it in. Now, when I did it, it cracked straight down the middle there. So rather than just throw it away and start again, I'm going to try and make a feature of it. Rocks do crack, so that being as it is like that, I don't think anybody would notice. I mean, to be fair, you probably wouldn't have even noticed unless I actually said anything. So there we go. So that's what I've done to cover up where the road actually came down. Now, if we go up above, you'll see a significant difference at the top. Up here, I've actually put a level crossing in across here. I'm still in the process of doing this at the moment. I do actually need to put another coat of paint on here. But the roadway now comes all the way up here. The incline is not as steep as it was now. If you'd seen in previous videos, I'd actually put a block of foam in here. And then what I've done is I've put plaster cast over the top of it, which I've showed before in other videos, which is this stuff here. And then what I've done then is I've then put some all-purpose filler on over the top of that, and then let it all dry. And of course, I've done exactly the same thing here. I've put the filler in here. I've used draft excluder here. This weirdly enough, this is actually something I found up in the attic from the previous owner. So cheers for that, because that's cost me nothing. I've put the excluder across here and here, and then I filled it with filler. And then what I've done then after that is I've then very carefully with a knife scored through the plaster while it was still a little bit soft, and dug out the plaster from the track. So of course now when you get your truck, the truck actually goes over this nice and perfectly. And then you've got Smokey Joe in the background there, ready and waiting to do the test run, which I will do probably next week. So, of course, then going up here, see I've painted all the roadway all the way up here. I've put some rock formations in here as well as, again from plaster cast. And then the road will continue down here. Try and get a good shot of this. This area here is going to be a car park for the lake, which is over there. And then the road will then disappear off into the distance, which is going to be over there on the back scene when I finally fit it in. Now for the lake itself, I've pratted around with some colours, and to be fair, it looks more sea-like than anything else. But I do want it to be a lake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to completely fill this in again. This time I'm going to level it all off, because it's all like all over the place at the moment, and it's, although it's stiff, there is a bit of flex in that which I want to get rid of. So once I've put some filler in there, that'll make it more rigid. Then what I'll do is I'll then put in a thin layer of the stuff that I bought. Have I got any of that anywhere? Some of the resin that I bought from the pound shop a little while ago. Trying to find some. I think it's in a bag over there actually. But anyway, if you'd seen on previous videos, you will see that I actually bought all this resin from the pound shop, ready to put in there. So that's what I'll use once I've got it all repainted again. Now, biggest significant change that's happened on the layout is Fennerton Central, which I started a couple of weeks ago. If any of you on Google Plus have been watching, you will see the progression of that as I've been building it over the past couple of weeks. So what's happened here, I'll show you, is it is now, I don't know, probably 50% finished now. So get a good angle in there, so you can see I've repainted the footbridge, because that was like a red and a grey colour. Repainted that. I've also made it look as, we'll try to make it look old. This is my first attempt at trying to try and make something look old, if you know what I mean. So for a first attempt, I think it's not too bad, but I need to have a little bit more practice. Obviously the stations are a little bit too pristine. They need to have a bit of grime put into the stations, especially where people have been walking and everything else. So you've got the centre platform there, as well as, and then you've got the backpack platform over there. You've got the waiting room over here. You've got the booking office over here. If I bring you down, you'll see I've actually got somebody sat here waiting for the train. He's going to be waiting a while though, I think, before another train comes round on this platform, at least anyway. Mostly because this has got the, on the radiuses, the Hornby R605 curve. I think they call it the first radius, I think it is. Pretty much everybody I know will be all probably shouting, why did you do that? Well, at the time, it was all the track that I had at the time. And the only one engine I've currently got, which is running on DCC, is my Flying Scotsman. And that is having a hard time, being a railroad, Hornby Railroad model. It's having a hard time trying to get around those radiuses. I have modified it slightly. The centre wheels have actually filed the groove on the inside of the wheel. I've filed that flat to enable it to go around. If you see on the old, very, very old Hornby and Triang engines, they've done exactly the same thing with those. So I've sort of adopted the old style from that, and that has actually helped to improve it a bit. The railroad models are quite stiff, really. The rear set of wheels are fixed, and again, they don't have a groove in them either. Whereas on the engines previously, they swiveled in the same way as the front bogie does. Yeah, so what I've done is I filed that centre groove out the six wheels, and that has made a big improvement. Um, but it is still struggling to get round that radius. If I ever come to rebuild this ever again, I won't be using that radius ever again. It's just too tight. Although once I've got my Intercity 125 DCC'd up, that will go round it, because obviously back when I had it originally, this particular track that's in here now, the first radiuses, actually came in that set. So I know it will run round it. So perhaps it won't be so much of a hardship in the end anyway. It just means that the large steam engines will probably only be able to run on the Midland and Far circuit. Anyway, I'll go more into that in a minute. Then you've got Finton Parkway. Finton Parkway hasn't changed very much, really. I've painted the footbridge. That's now ready to be glued in properly. Again, I've attempted to try weathering that also. It doesn't look too bad to me. You've got, you can see there where the got some black there obviously from the smoke from the steam engines. You've got that there. I'll try and get you in a bit closer so you can actually see. You see where I've even dry brushed a bit of silver paint over the top to try to give the effect of the paint peeling off. I painted it in green first. I've dry brushed a dark brown and a silver over the top, and also black where the smoke is here. And also, I don't know if you can see this or not, but also I've put black up 2 runs of the staircase as well, to sort of give the illusion of people constantly walking up and down it. So that's going to be the next thing to be fitted in. Then I've also fitted, there you go, look, I fitted the canopy over there. I think that's an old Hornby canopy that I found lurking around in my drawer. So I've placed that in for now, but I will be painting that one also. And then on the front of the booking office building here, there is a canopy to go across the front of that also, which I'll show you later. Anyway, so that's that for now. Oh, hands. So that's pretty much it really for the update on that right now. Right, let's go back to the workshop. Back to the bench. Okay, right. So canopy. Grab that over there. Right. This is the canopy that I'm going to be fitting on the front of the booking office on Finton Parkway. So that's ready to go on. I just need to put some perspex in the holes there for the windows. So that's going on next. What else is there? Oh yes, this is the mould that I've used. I've got to clean that out yet, but first impressions are not bad actually. It does give a very, very good effect. The only thing that I would perhaps suggest you do is if you sprayed it with like a silicone spray or a mould release spray, if you can get hold of any of that, do that first. And then what happens then, you see, is that you're trying to peel the mould out. It should come out okay. I mean, some bits in the small little crevices here, don't know if you can see that, but you got small little crevices in there. Look, some of those the mold actually broke off in those because it was like hugging it. So use a spray release of some sort to do with that. Also, I don't know why, but on the crossroads, the crossing back there, when I put the plaster around the inner track, which is a steel track, the outer track is I don't even know what you call it. It's like a copper coloured track. That one was fine, but the steel one on the inside reacted and started rusting. If you have a look at my Google page, you'll see pictures of it, and you'll see the staining that was in it. Now, for some reason, that staining was reacting with the paint. So every time I tried painting over the top of it, it just wouldn't stick. So what I did in the end was I found that if I give it a coat of PVA glue first, let that set completely, then try and paint over the top, it did actually start to stick. So if you're using plaster, firstly, add a bit of PVA to the plaster anyway. That helps prevent any cracking when it sets. And also, once it is set, if you are going to be painting over the top of it, coat it again in just, I mean, I don't know, you can try and use it diluted, but I used it neat, and just paint a neat solution of PVA over that plaster. Let it set, and then when you paint over the top of it, firstly, you won't get any issues with the paint trying to suck in, because plaster acts like a sponge. You try painting directly onto plaster, it's just going to soak it straight in. But putting a coat of PVA on over the top, even though you've put some in it, doing that over the top helps to put a coating over the plaster, and then that way then you won't have any issues with it sucking in. So that's a lesson that I've learned myself while doing this, because obviously doing that is all new to me. The bit behind, you see here, that bit there, that is literally just plaster. Try and get some plaster bandage. Got these on Amazon. I've showed you these before. I mean, these just come in rolls that I just cut into sheets before I apply it. Now, what I did with these, you see, is I put 3 layers of this on that section there, and then I just painted over the top of it. What I should have done was put the plaster on over the top. Now, plaster, I've been using the all-purpose plaster from Wickes. This one box, which is a 1.5 kilo box, costs just under a £5. I think it was £4.95, something like that. And it actually goes quite a long way, that does. I've used up the mass majority of this box. I mean, I've got another one over there now. But what I'm going to do is that entire area there, I'm going to recoat in this plaster, and then repaint the whole thing, and try and get sort of the same effect as the grey areas that you've seen over there now, which is there, that bit there you can see there, look. That looks more realistic than that, I think. So lesson learned on that one. So anybody doing that, PVA in the plaster when you're mixing it, and then PVA over the top once it's set. And hopefully then when you paint it, you won't have any issues. Right, one other thing. Tips. Always like to give out my tips. I don't like to hold anything back. So if it helps anybody, then that's great. You've seen these before. I showed you in a previous video. These I got as a coat hanger from Asda when I bought some polo shirts recently. You get 2 of these on each hanger, and they are absolutely cracking. They really are. In fact, I used, if you go on my Google page, have a look. There is sort of an almost step by step of how I built the platforms. I started off with the tape. I've got some tape here somewhere. Yep, here we are. Started off with the tape, the masking tape, put that on over the top, and then once you've done that, laid it down roughly around the track where you've laid it, then try and find a, hang on, I'll go and get you a coach. Hang on a tick. Okay, coach. Now get a pencil. Now, when your coach is on the track, and if you've got to follow around any radiuses or anything like that on the track where you're building your platforms. Also, if, I mean, as much as we like to try, the straight section of the tracks are never straight. They're always going to weave in and out. You look down the line of the track and you'll see the track moving as it goes along. So what I suggest you do is put down the tape as close to the sleepers as you possibly can. So I keep looking down here when I should be looking up here. I'm getting used to it slowly. Bear with me. This is only number 7. I am learning. I've even put it in flight mode as well now, so I know that I'm not going to get anyone trying to call me or anything while I'm videoing. So anyway, what we do is on the track here, use the longest coach you can possibly find, okay? And then as you run the coach around the track in the area where you want to put your platform, I'm doing it again. Hello, sorry, viewers, you're up here. I should have some arrows pointing to the camera saying, look here. Sorry. Anyway, where was I? Getting sidetracked. When you're running around the inside of the track, which is going to be on. Well, you know what the inside of the track is. Okay, when you're doing the inside of the track, okay, always put a pencil or some sort, something very thin that you can mark a line with, whether it gives a crease line or whether it actually does mark the line. One thing I would suggest is with the pencil, if you try and shave as much off the one side of the pencil as you possibly can, which brings the point of the pencil closer to the coach, the better. If you are building a lot of stations, then I would suggest, especially if you've got a big layout, I would suggest get a pencil purposely made for it. It'll make your life a hell of a lot easier in the long run. Anyway, inside edge, place the pencil on the center part of the coach. It's got to be dead center. So when you're looking at the coach, obviously, I mean, this particular one is quite symmetrical from both sides. So you count all the windows in till you get to the middle. That's the middle bar there. So keep the pencil in the middle bar there. And then what you do then is hold the pencil or even tape the pencil to it if you wanted to. And then as you roll the coach around the track, this pencil marks a line, okay? Now, if you're just using a standard pencil and you're not going to shave anything off the side, because, I don't know, perhaps you might want to use a pencil for something else afterwards, then what I suggest is, sorry, you're up here again, sorry. Once you've made that mark, then what I suggest you do then is measure the distance between, excuse me, I do beg me pudding. If you measure the distance between the point and the side of the pencil there, halve it, and then add that to the line. When I mean adding it, I mean mark it closer to the sleepers. And then that way then, it won't be too close, but once you've made the platform and everything else, um, once you've made all the platform, uh, when the coaches come along, they will be quite close to track. So where you've got like the door there will sit almost on top of the platform. Uh, and then when you do the outside of the track, don't put it in the center. Put it right on the very corner, of the coach, and then do the same again. Run round the whole thing until you finished marking it. Reason for that is obviously it is pretty obvious, especially if you're doing tunnels and stuff like that. Some people, myself included, have made the mistake of building a tunnel, and then when the train goes through it, the one side of the coach catches in the middle because the tunnel's not wide enough, and then the outer edge, because it's going around like that, the outer edge will catch the outer edge of the tunnel there like that. So that is the reason for that, because otherwise what will happen is when you're making your platforms, the train will come round, and as soon as the first coach tries coming around the platform, it's going to tuck underneath the platform there like that and lift it off the track. So every entry and exit to a platform, you will always find that the platform is too far away from the track. Actually, case in point, I'll show you on Finton Parkway here. You'll see a coach there now, look. Because of that radius there, that door is sitting too far away from the platform. So anybody disembarking off the train would have to get off at the first coach over there. That's the only issue you'll ever find with a radius. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why the mass majority of main stations and country stations will either have a short platform, like on a country one, branch line, or on a main station, a very long straight. I mean, if you go out to, I don't know, say like Waterloo, for instance, Waterloo station has got a naturally very gentle curve in the track. And then when you're getting off the train, you will notice there is a bit of a step that you have to take between the coach and the platform. Whereas on that one there, for instance, the curve is far greater, so it's more noticeable. Where it's quite a gentle curve. Did I say Waterloo? No, I meant Euston. That's it, Euston Station. Sorry. There's probably people out there now saying, "Waterloo, it's bloody straight." Yeah. If you ever go to Euston Station in London, you'll know what I mean. There is a gentle curve on the platform. So when you are getting off a Pendolino or anything like that, you will notice there's a small step. And that's the reason for why there is, on a straight, flat platform, you literally just step straight onto the platform. Anyways, right, I'll get rid of this for a minute. Okay, right, now then. It is Christmas. Yay, Christmas. Look, I've even got my Christmas top on as well, look. So what I will say is there's one more tip. Go to McDonald's, right? We all know these sticks come in useful. So grab a handful of those and grab some of these that you put your sauce in. These little pots here are fantastic for just mixing up a small amount of paint for something. And then there's no cleaning involved afterwards. You just throw it straight in the bin. Done. Awesome. But if you are mixing bigger bits of paint, use a tub like this, which is off a spray can. Or what I've been doing recently is collecting loads of these jars. Now, these jars are brilliant because they are completely airtight sealed. So I can mix big batches of paint in these things, um, especially with the road back there. The road was mixed with black, white, and green to give like a tarry sort of texture. So it's great for the roads and it's great for sleeper grime as well. So if you want to make a sleeper grime, the best thing I can do, I mean, it's only cheap paints like these, pound shop. I think those ones, I think I got those from Hobbycraft for £1. Yeah, I think I did. 50% black. I think it was about 25% white and 25% green. Mix it all together, and you get quite a tar-looking effect. So you can use it for sleeper grime. You can use it for tarmac. Excuse me. And anything else you can possibly think of. So yeah, these things are great. I mean, I've actually got some ballast glue mix here, which is water, PVA, and washing up liquid. And this has been sat in the jar here for months. And as you can see, it is still, it's still very liquidy. It hasn't dried out whatsoever, which is fantastic. So I highly recommend that if you can get it. So if you're a coffee lover like myself, go to Dow Egberts. It tastes great, and you get a free jar out of it as well. I think that's pretty much it really for now. I think I'm done with all my tips for this week. Right, okay, people. Right, I will leave that with you there for now. And Merry Christmas to you all, and have a Happy New Year. And I hope that it all goes well for you this year. And if you've had it as an exciting year as I have, then great, brilliant. Thumbs up. Merry Christmas, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.